Women's incarceration in Oregon has become a problem. In the last 20 years, the number of women in prison in Oregon has tripled. This has a huge impact on our state, its budget, our communities, and most importantly, the people that live in them. Every person we incarcerate costs an average of $35,000 per year. That's over $40 million spent on women's incarceration in Oregon this year alone. The arrest rate for property crimes, the biggest driver of women's incarceration, has fallen 40% since 1995, while the number of women in prison continues to go up. Treating more crimes as felonies, mandatory minimum sentencing, and more aggressive charging practices has created a slew of harsh punishments. That's a lot of money spent on an approach that often creates more problems and more costs than it solves. Let's dive a little deeper. 80% of women go to prison in Oregon for non-violent crimes. These are usually property and drug crimes, which are often linked. These crimes are frequently a symptom of health and social problems that could be addressed if people were given treatment and services in the community. We're not saying that women who commit crimes should not be held accountable, but rather than warehouse people in prisons with one-size-fits-all sentencing, we should consider each case. Here's why. More than half of the women sent to prison in Oregon in 2015 had children under 18. Most often, children of incarcerated moms are at risk of worse outcomes in their education, health, and even their chances of ending up involved in the criminal justice system themselves. As a taxpayer, spending all of this money on ever-growing incarceration rates could be seen as throwing good money after bad. We're paying to lock up women, stopping them from contributing to society while not addressing the root causes of their crimes, and in many cases, creating more problems for the future. Rather than dissolving our budget for prison beds, we can invest the money in any number of valuable alternatives. The cost of incarcerating a woman for 1 year would pay for tuition for 3 students for 1 year at an Oregon university, foster care for 1 year for 4 Oregon children, care services for 1 year to 21 Oregon seniors to allow them to stay in their homes. There are things we can do that would be more beneficial to individual women and to Oregonians in general. We could strengthen and further develop programs that allow women, where appropriate, to remain in the community while being held accountable for their offending. Oregon has a budget deficit. Our state is spending money faster than it is making it. Crime is going down among women, but the number in prison, and the cost, continue to rise. The negative impact of incarceration often reaches further than the person locked up and can continue even once their sentence ends. Before we continue to spend more and more money on prisons and ignore the social and health roots of crime, let's take action now to put Oregon on the right path for the future.